All right, everybody, what's up? We're here for another episode of the Teach One podcast, and I would like to introduce everyone to my man I met most recently in Las Vegas at a conference. Now, one thing about people, I hold no grudges when it comes to the teams they root for. Y'all should know I'm a Cowboys fan. If you know me, my man Brian Barber, aka Mr. New School, he is I was gonna say the wrong name, the Commanders. He's a Commanders fan, but we gel. We still cool. So welcome, Brian, to the show. My man,
Excellent.
Mr. New
And yes,
School, how
you're
you
right.
doing?
I love the Commanders. That's my team. Season ticket holder. I'm at all the games. I'm crazy. That's my
Hallelujah.
release space, where it's normal to go
Okay.
crazy. But
Okay.
yes, definitely. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. I appreciate it. And yes, make the most out of this.
Okay, let's jump right in it. We usually start our program with where you were born and then your school trajectory. So what schools did you go to? So hit me with that.
I was born in Fort Washington, Maryland. So that's the DMV area. It's right outside of DC. When I say Maryland, a lot of people go out to Baltimore. Much love to Baltimore though. But
Yep.
Baltimore is about like an hour and 20 minutes from where I am. Washington, DC is about 10 minutes. I'm a suburb. Prince George's County is where I'm from. So when you think of Prince George's County, you think of Wale, you think of Kevin Durant, you think of Sugar Ray Leonard, right? So those are
Okay.
the
Okay. Yep.
suburban of Washington, D.C. area. We call it the DMV. But I'm from Fort Washington, Maryland. I went to Oxon Hill Elementary School. I went to Oxon Hill Middle School. I
Okay.
went to Oxon Hill High School. So I went to Oxon Hill. I say
Okay.
when I say Fort
You
Wash, you know what I'm
accident.
saying? Grade
Yep.
did my
All
whole
right.
makeup. Oxon Hill,
So when you talk about
yes.
elementary,
Oxon Hill Elementary,
Oxon Hill,
yes.
Oxon Hill Elementary, what was Oxon Hill Elementary like for you? And that
Yeah,
had to be what, the 80s, right?
yeah. We talking
Mhm.
about
Yep.
probably from, let's say, I graduated or moved on from elementary school because sixth grade was when we were at elementary school. Went up to sixth grade, so that puts me
Mhm.
at what 11. So it's like through 1980, through 1990 rather, 1990. But elementary school was great. Oxon Hill Elementary, it was unique in a way because you had it's middle class generally, but it could be lower to like middle,
Yep.
lower middle class to about, center middle class or a bit of upper middle class as well. So I was not a loud kid and I was a good kid. I think I was a good kid. My father died when I was
Okay.
3 years old. He had Lou Gehrig's disease. Um, ALS is what
Okay, sorry to hear
is
that.
known as
Yeah,
now.
we have it now.
The
Yep.
ice bucket challenge and muscle disease and your muscles.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, no cure
So,
for that.
I
No
grew up,
cure for that.
my father was gone from, when I was 3 until now. My mother was a great parent. Uh, I have a great male figures
Mhm.
growing up, but, and I have 2 older brothers. I have a oldest sister as well, but I grew up with my 2, older brothers, one 10 years older than me and one 7 years older than me. The one that's 7 years older than me has autism, so I've been kind of, in the midst of that reality for my entire life. But elementary school was great. I felt like it was great. I
So, did you
My
have any
favorite
favorite
teacher of
teachers
all
in
time
elementary school?
comes from elementary school. Her name was Miss Wilmer. Miss Wilmer,
Okay.
and I want to say Miss Wilmer taught me in the fourth, fifth, and because she followed us. Yeah, she
Oh, so
followed us.
like a
And
looping thing
so
with
from the
her.
fourth, fifth,
Okay.
sixth, she was a great teacher. She actually tutored me outside of school, making sure that that I was solid and sound in all my academic subject areas. Um, she was a great teacher. I love Miss Wilmer. I mean, she was
So what was the school like? What was the demographic makeup? And was Miss
Miss
Wilmore
Wilmer
a
was a
white woman
black
or a black
woman.
woman? Like,
Prince
what
George's
was that?
County is predominantly black.
Yep.
It's what
Okay.
you would
Okay.
consider an affluent County, but it's diverse. It's diverse. You know what I'm saying? If you go to one area in Prince George's
Okay.
County, because the county is kind of it's big, but it had very affluent areas. Fort Washington is what you would consider an affluent area. Bowie is very affluent, and then you have other areas like Oxon Hill, which is not necessarily low income, but you will have that mixture of low to middle, a lot more apartments in that particular area. You have Forestville and other areas. So
Okay.
it's very diverse. You'll have a group of friends that come from completely different socioeconomic backgrounds, share the same culture as Black people, listen to the same music. We're the home of go-go, DC. So we
Listen, I went to Virginia State for a hot minute in '92, and man, I got
yeah,
turned on to DJ Cool and go-go
for
music for
sure. Let
sure.
me clear my throat.
For
Da-na-na-na.
sure. Yeah, they started all that
And
back
he
then. Yep, let
teamed
me
up
clear
with
my throat.
Redman and did a couple of things with Redman. And hip hop definitely fused go-go. Even in the early hip hop, when you think about Kid and Play, rolling, go-go.
Yeah, yeah, they had that whole stuff going on. You had
Exactly.
EU doing the butt, and, when
Exactly.
School Days
Exactly.
came
That
out,
was a
right?
great movie
Yeah,
right there, dealing with
yeah.
school. Yeah, right.
But we ain't
Yeah.
talking about that yet.
Oh, you
I
just
put those
but yes. But yeah, so that's what elementary school was like. It was I went to a good school. We had a lot of good parents. It was
Okay.
just a good school. After school activities were great. Athletics, Oxon Hill Boys and Girls Club was jumping. All of my friends. I wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily the athlete. I went more into the art direction as far as artists and rapping and music. But all of my friends are athletes. I'm talking about athletes. You know, scholarships. They went to
Yeah.
got scholarships to colleges. My friend Barry that I grew up with, he was an awesome runner. I'm talking about this dude ran long distance running. And like so just basketball, basketball in Prince George's County is big in the DMV in general. Football as well.
Mhm.
So a lot of athletes, and a lot of it was a good time. Elementary school was a good time.
Good
But
time.
you still had to deal with what you had to deal with as far as negative. A lot of opportunity to make decisions
Mhm.
were given to me at a young age in elementary school. Public school, I think, offers that. I
Okay.
think public school offers opportunity to go in a multitude of directions. And if you
Of course.
have a good background as far as your support system to stay on you, to support you, to keep you headed in the right direction, I think that that builds character, and it builds strength. Just being
Now, I wanna say in elementary, yes, but we're gonna segue to middle school because middle school, you
yeah,
you start to
right,
become an adolescent, right? And
big
so when
time.
you talk about making choices, your whole makeup is a little bit different because you focusing on your peers and their admiration for you rather than what your family foundation may be or what
It
rules may be. So
switches.
what
You're
was
right.
middle school
So
like?
now a larger environment. Elementary school, it was a core friends. You traveled with the same class throughout the course of the day. Middle school, well, really, you stayed with the same teacher pretty much, other than specials. Middle school, where I was from, you stayed with the same class, but you went into you went throughout school and you
This is
visited different teachers throughout the day. My math teacher, science teacher, health
mhm.
teacher, reading teacher, everybody was different. And so, and we're dealing with students and kids that we didn't know. So now, instead of just our elementary school, it might be 5, 6, 7, 8 elementary schools that fund school.
In
Exactly.
that one
So
space.
now it's even a larger dynamic of socioeconomic differences and culture differences, microculture differences, because from the outside looking in, you just think, okay, it's all the same. It's Prince George's County. But within the county, you know the difference between Forestville, between Fort Washington, between Bowie, between Sea Pleasant. All these different areas bring different things to the
So was there any drama in school
it
from, like,
was.
rival areas or for people
Yeah, I
did you
mean,
have
my
a clique you
neighborhood,
had to
and
be
so
in?
because around here it's more neighborhoods.
Right.
It's really neighborhood dominated. So I
Okay.
grew up in Shadow High, and Shadow High, we would go to the Go Go's and we repped as 503. You know what I'm saying? Go-Go is
Okay.
real
Okay.
call and response, and it's real hood oriented. And when they're on the stage and you calling
Okay.
out where y'all from, that's part of the Go-Go. Will say where y'all from,
Okay.
and you will scream
Yeah,
out
part of
your neighborhood.
the
And so,
performance.
with that, you have things that occur, but for the most part, my
Yeah.
school was great, but it did have conflict between people, between neighborhoods at times. I definitely witnessed some fights, but overall, my overall experience was far more positive than negative. You definitely are going to make decisions based on, where do you want to end up? What side of the track do you want to land and live and play a part in?
Right.
I
Right.
my mother really didn't let me go too far anyway. She really held on tight. I just think my family dynamic led to that. I say, like I told you, my father passed when I was young, but my mother and father, they had really established a family. My oldest brother was like 13,
Right.
14.
Right.
My middle brother was like 10, and then
Yeah.
I was like 3. And then my mother once said, many times she said it, but she said it seems like everything was going perfect. She said, "We had just bought the house. We had
Yeah.
like everything. We just had you. You're 3 years, like everything was going perfect when he got sick." And it just seemed
Mhm.
like that was just like it. So
Right.
I think from that experience, my mother really held on tight. And I was the youngest, and so the baby.
You're the
And so
baby.
she
You're the
really,
baby, you
she
can say
really
it.
put her all
Mhm.
into all of us. But I felt, her effects of her influence. So I definitely was influenced by peer pressure because who isn't, especially around that middle school age? Because middle school is funny. You're still a kid, but you think you're grown, and so you like both things. You want to do this,
Right.
but you
Right.
still want to watch cartoons. And things your
Right,
body
right.
is changing. The dynamic between girls and boys is really starting to change. So it's a lot of things to consider. So you're
Right.
right. That middle school area, those early teens, it's really I don't know. It's a landmark like age. It-
Yeah, it's a time, and I deal with it a lot. I was a middle school principal myself, and where I supervise now. I supervise grades 6 through 12, so I'm always dealing with those students and talking to them about the decisions they made. Plus, I was a middle school student, and I didn't have the best time in middle school myself. I went through some stuff as well. Skipping school a lot, getting in trouble. I started out in the gifted and talented program, and then ended up getting kicked out of there. So, I mean, it's a hard time when you're trying to figure out who you are. What was
High
high
school
school
was
like?
Man, high school was super fun as well. It was a lot like my entire schooling was really fun. I really learned a lot. So
Yeah.
it was far more positive than negative. It really prepared me to go on to college. I'll tell you where I felt. Well, we'll get to
Okay.
that, but it really prepared me for college, and it really established myself as far as my peer group. I have a core peer group that I grew up with.
Now you didn't play any sports or anything like that. What
I
what
was
group were you
music.
part of?
I'm rap. I'm rolling. I
Okay.
got rap in my
Okay.
neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
So wait,
Yes.
let's go to that then. Now you said you was rapping. Y'all wasn't like Fame, like rapping in the middle of
Yes.
the cafeteria
Yep.
or anything like that.
I started
Okay.
rapping in
When did you
elementary
start
school.
rapping?
I started rapping. I had to be about 8
Okay.
years old. I'm
Okay.
thinking 3rd, 4th grade when I first started rapping because I was born in 77.
Okay.
So when I was like 8, that would be what, 85, 86. So we're talking about Run DMC right now. We're talking about like the introduction of
Mhm.
Rakim. We're
Mhm.
talking about Cool Mo D. And when I was growing up,
Yes.
we had the
Yes.
box, and I had cable as a kid, right? I was one of the first
You didn't have cable. Okay.
neighborhoods that had cable. They came in wired cable. It was Comcast cable at the time. So
In the
yes,
box, did you have to call in for the box to
you
get
had to
the
call
videos that
in,
you wanted? See, we didn't have that in Connecticut.
period.
They had
And
that
it
in New
was,
York.
it was a menu. It was a menu of
Yeah.
videos. And you would call in, it was Rob the video robot, lift the record, play it. and you would see the video and you would call in, it'd be like $1 or so.
Wow.
But I was huge. I'm a big music fan. My mother always surrounded us with music. And I'm talking about Diana Ross, Peabo Bryson, Michael Jackson, the Jackson Five, the new movie Michael. I've seen it twice with my kids.
Really?
They love them.
Okay.
They love music just in general. My son, School Youngin, if you've seen some of the videos that I have on my website, my YouTube channel, you'll see School Youngin. My youngest is a beast. He's a little dancer. He's just doing everything he wants to right now. But we'll
Wait,
three,
he's
about to
3
be
years old
4.
though, right?
And so, like, music is just my
Okay.
foundation. I'm a musician. I'm a writer. And I'm not a musician as far as I don't play instruments, but I write and I perform. And I come up with music in my mind and I present that to the producer, if not produce it myself, but I present it to the producer and they will, bring it to life.
Well, you don't make your own music either.
I,
You just I got the words
right,
for you,
right.
and I can hear the melody in my head and
I'll
how it
transfer that
goes,
idea.
and we put it down on
Exactly.
wax
And
for
they'll,
somebody else. Yep.
follow through.
Yep.
But music was my crew. Music, I hang with me. And
So high
period.
school music
I
was
was
your
rapping.
thing.
I was rapping. Everybody knew me as a rapper in my little locale, in my high school. We would be up in the senior lounge. We would have
Okay.
ciphers. I mean, like, I really have written a lot of raps.
Now this is where I'm gonna pause you for a second because you did say you started
Yes.
way back in elementary, and I heard you say before, in another conversation that you remember
I,
your
I
first
remember my
rhyme
first two
that you
raps.
wrote. So
They're
let's hear
very
one of
short.
them.
I'm
Pick
gonna
one
say
of
them
them and
both.
let's
They're
hear
very
your
short. They were
very
short
first one.
rap. Well, and you
Okay,
can
got
tell
it.
I was a studious kid because this just from the name. The first one that I'll do is called I Ain't Fiction. Fiction, nonfiction. You can tell that.
Oh, I got
Here
you.
we go.
I
So
ain't
here it
fake.
goes.
I'm
I ain't fiction. I'm real. Coming off hard, like steel, harder than ever. I will never stop writing the hard rhymes because I drop the songs that are dope. You can't cope. You think you can beat me? Nah, nope. So that was I ain't fiction. Then I got another one called, and I'm like in the third grade. Fourth grade. Then my next one is I'm
I got you. Yeah,
retaliating with
what's the
left
next
and
one?
right hooks. And when I get on the mic, don't you know I cook like a chef? Making a gourmet dinner because all the rhymes that I say are winners. I come up with the rhymes that you can't ignore, the rhymes that everybody be cheering for. What more can I say? I just say I'm great and everybody knows I'm retaliating. So I would go to school and I would say my little raps. And I'm talking third, and I like the way it made me
Yeah.
feel. You know,
Well, it's a big word too for
creating
3rd
fiction.
grade, retaliating.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I got
Gourmet
you.
dinner.
Yeah, I got you. They're like, "Ooh,
You know what I'm
ooh,
saying?
that's
And
hard.
I
That's
would be
hard." I'm sorry. Back then it was, "That's
okay.
dope. That's fresh."
Yes,
Fresh was
yes,
probably the
it
word back
was.
then too.
Yes, it was. And fly.
Alright, so high school, you obviously decided to go to
Yeah.
college from high school, and if you did, where'd
My
you go and
first
what did you
2
study?
years, I went to Elizabeth City State University in North Carolina. Um, CIAA, HBCU. So I did that. It was
Okay,
I went for music. They had a great music program there. I was there for 2 years. Now that up until then, I'm talking about I rarely got a C. Rarely got a C in my entire life. I might have gotten 3 C's in my entire life, you know? So,
okay.
um, moving away from home was a culture shock to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just different. I was free to do as I pleased at all times. So I found myself, I was
Yeah,
skipping class. My first semester wasn't so bad. But it was when I started to really meet people. That second semester, I was like, man, so now
right.
I'm not going to classes I should. Um, I remember one time I went to a class and I went at the beginning of the semester and I don't know, I hadn't gone in a while. So it was like towards the end of the semester, I was like, man, I need to go to this class. It was I believe it was English or something. So I went to the class and I'm sitting there and the teacher looked at me and said, because HBC classes weren't so huge. I would say my classes at that time probably 30,
Right,
40
right.
kids, right? So he was like, um, so where have you been all semester? And I'm like, I'm talking, he called me out at the top of class. And I was, oh man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
All of that, at the end of class, he allowed me to make up my work. I actually told him, I forgot what I told him, but I guess
Okay, you did.
he
You
felt
did.
for me, and he let me make up my work. He
Okay.
ended up giving me a C. And he would when I turned in my work, I remember he looked at me, he said, "You don't." He's asked me if I had somebody write the work for. And he was like, "'Cause you don't talk like this."
Oh,
Like, but mind you,
like
I'm a
writing,
writer.
yeah.
I'm a writer writing my entire life.
Mhm.
So I'm a great writer. I'm still a great writer to this day. I don't talk how I write if I'm naturally talking comfortably, because I'm
Of
comfortably
course.
talking, it's non-formal, and I'm just being myself and I'm just talking in the way that I've been in my environment. I'm talking the way that we talk around
Right.
here. But I'm a great writer.
Right.
So I told him, look, I'm a great writer. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. And he knew I wasn't lying. So but my first 2 years were
Okay.
kinda, like, shaky. I ended up, being on, what was it? Mm, I was on academic
Academic
probation. I was
probation.
actually Yes,
See
yeah.
how I knew that?
Look,
I wonder how
I
I
was
knew
on
that.
academic probation. So then after my first 2 years, I'm not doing
Mhm.
so well grade-wise. I'm having the time of my life, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not doing so well grade-wise. Out-of-state fees aren't cheap. I don't really care what school you go to. My mother, said, "It's time to come back home." She, sent me to Bowie State. So that's where I ended up getting my, uh, degree, my bachelor's degree in elementary education. When I came back, I switched. I switched to music.
Now wait a minute, wait, slow down. So
That's in
Bowie
Bowie,
Bowie
Maryland.
State is where?
That's yeah.
And it's in Maryland, and what
My
made you go
mother's
into education?
degree is in early childhood. When she didn't go into the classroom though, she went into the federal government. She worked with the Department of Special Ed for over 40 years, but her degree was early childhood. Now, my father was a science teacher at an elementary school. It was Garfield Elementary School, I believe, in Southeast Washington, D.C. He was a teacher. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow,
it's in my blood.
that's in
My
your blood.
entire, background as far
Okay.
as my parents both dealt in education. I told you my older brother, um, has autism. So and it's so and then my mother
Mhm.
worked in the Department of Special Ed. So that was just my surrounding. I have male figures that have played a huge major parts and major aspects and big parts of my life. All of them, well, not all of them, but many of them are educators and teachers. I'm surrounded by teachers. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Part of the reason why I switched from music to education is because I looked at the schedule of a teacher. I was like, well, teachers have the best schedules
Okay.
of any profession that I know. They get you can work a regular day, as far as hours are concerned. And I know it bleeds
Yeah.
over. Teachers definitely work beyond
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hours allotted within a school day, but we get every
For sure.
break, every break. We get every holiday
Yep.
and we get a summer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So when you really
Yep.
look at it, I want to say 3+ months we're on holiday or on spring break or on winter
Yeah.
break or on
Yeah.
summer break. You know,
Yeah. Now I would say depending with that summer, depending on how you get paid.
I spread it
I've
out.
been on both ends of that. Like I
Yeah,
need my money, spread out rather than I get my last check in June or May, wherever you get out, and then you gotta work summer school
exactly.
or
I
hustle and do all that.
always spreaded my money out. So no
Yeah.
matter what decision I made, I had my baseline. My baseline throughout the because my check, and that's not gonna switch. So I always did that. But that's
Right.
what because I figured I could do my music, I can, and I can do whatever I wanted to, and it a lot of and plus I always love kids. Going back, my first job, the first job that I ever had was with 500 C Street. It was
Yeah.
called Summerworks. It was a DC program, and it was really meant for DC resident youths. So I'm talking about was Marion at the
Okay.
time. And when I'm talking about Marion had this program, so like he was just about youth uh being involved in positive things. And so I didn't even live in
Okay.
DC, but I had family in DC. big part of my I have a bunch of cousins and aunts and uncles. Like a lot of my family is in DC, uptown, and all spread throughout. But anyhow,
Yep.
I got involved with that program. I was able to take she didn't even have the same last name as me. They were Simmons. But I got a phone bill. I just went up
Mhm.
there with the phone bill envelope. I had Man, he looked at me
I
and
live
said,
in
"What do
yeah,
you
yeah.
like to do? Where do you want to work?" I said, "I like working with kids." My first job that I ever had, and I was
Yep.
probably 13 or 14 at the time, was tutoring kids. I forgot what elementary school I was at or what school I was at. I think it was Banneker. I think that's where the summer program was. But I would tutor younger elementary school kids. I've always loved
Yep.
teaching. I just didn't know it, because it wasn't. But when I did it, I loved it. Um, as you say, things carry over. I'm a performer. I love to do my thing in front of an audience. I feel
Mhm.
like in that way, teaching
Mhm.
relates. It's aligned with
Yeah.
actual performers and things like that. We're trying to get a point across. We're
Right.
trying to relay
Right.
a
Right.
message to an audience, and for some reason, I feel good while I'm doing it. So that really the
Mhm.
reason I think
Mhm.
that the universal gravitational pull just pulled me in that direction. It was all unconscious decision. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
a teacher, you know?
So when you graduated from Bowie State, your first job as
Yeah.
a did you
It
get a
was at
job as a
Oakland's
teacher,
Elementary.
and where was
Now,
it?
my first job, I did my student teaching because we went into the practicums, and then let's be clear, I was a super senior
Yep. Yep.
because
Yep.
remember I was on academic probation. So education,
Yeah, that's all good. Listen, the years get
you know what
blurry
I'm
when you in
saying?
college, so, it gotta be 4 years. I didn't do it in 4 years. That's damn
I
for damn
wa I
sure.
was trying my best to
Right.
be to just be a fly on the wall forever, but I didn't. So I ended up graduating. It took me because when I switched over, I had to overcome my academic probation. So you had to have like a
Mhm.
2.5 to even, go into your major at Bowie State as an education major. So I left Elizabeth City. I think I was like a 1 point, I want to say 5 or 6. So I had to retake a lot of
Mm.
classes. So like my first year or two at Bowie State was reasserting myself, retaking all these
That's
that
that's
wasted
that
money.
wasted money that I be telling my
Bowie
son
State it
about.
is. You know what I'm saying? Out of state tuition,
Mhm.
no more. Right up the street, took my car. I had a
Yeah.
car. I had a 400D Benz diesel. I'm riding down in North Carolina. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. It's like 90. I want to say
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
96, 97. Those were the years I was at Elizabeth
Okay.
City. 90, because I graduated in 1995. I from high school, I
Okay.
graduated Bowie State in 2003. 2 years in Elizabeth City. I had to reestablish myself as a sound student, the student that I was before I left, you know? So I had to do all that. So that's
Yeah.
time, like you said. And then I made it into my major. I got my GPA up and I'm thriving at this point. But I was there too long, but it was fine because I needed it. I needed it. It wasn't about academics or smarts. It was more about discipline. It was more about discipline. I was
Yeah.
not disciplined as as I am right now. So anyway, I started doing my practicum. So it's my last year. I'm a senior now. I made it. I'm about to do my capstone, my final presentation. I'm at Oakland's Elementary doing my student teaching. So that was great. They love me there. I'm a black male in elementary school. That's like, I'm
Mhm.
it
That's
we're
prime.
percentage
That's
black
prime.
males in the
Yeah.
classroom. Always gonna have our PE teachers. We always gonna have the custodial staff. We'll have some principals. We'll have some vice principals. But typically in the
Right.
classroom, I
Right.
want to say
But
out of
as a
every 10
teacher,
teachers,
yeah.
2 of them will be male teachers on the elementary level. That's how the ratio felt.
Right.
So
Right.
we rocking and rolling. I did my student teaching at Oakland's Elementary under Mrs. Nix. That was my principal. And she just asked me to stay. I never even interviewed. I didn't interview anywhere. She was like, stay. And
Wow.
because I did well. the children, they clung on to me, they grasped, and they welcomed me. I really did
Mhm.
well. And I was
Mhm.
young at the time. I'm 25. I just have a lot of energy. I'm always that fly. We in
Same thing,
J's, you know
man.
what I'm saying? We in polo,
Yeah.
the kids know and they relate.
Yeah.
We are one.
Kids know.
Like
Yeah. Now there's something to that though. What grade level did you start at? 'Cause it sounds like we had the same trajectory, like the college stuff and all that. I started when I was 25, same thing, went to elementary, but I started in, 5th grade. 6th grade,
I
sorry, 6th
actually
grade. What grade did you
started
start in?
teaching music. Now, I was
Oh,
a
you was a
music
music
teacher,
teacher.
but my degree, I'm elementary ed classroom 1 through 8. I passed my practice, but what
Right, okay,
happened was
okay,
I think it was a 3rd grade position I was supposed to get, and the teacher ended up not leaving.
yep,
She had planned to leave and something fell through, she ended up staying. So that was my supposed
okay,
position, the position I was supposed to get. So it was a vacancy in music, and she knew of
mhm,
my musical background. Because I mean, I'm telling you, if you know me, you know I rap. No matter who you are, my boss,
okay,
I don't care.
right.
That's me. That's just me. I walk as that. I'm that. So she was like, "You want to teach the music class?" She said, "That's the position I have that's available, and I'll give that." And back then the teachers had a little, I mean, the principals had a little bit more of autonomy as place. They tightened up
Right,
over the
and
years,
stuff like
but
that, yeah, placing people.
anyhow, I said, "Of course, I want to teach music." I actually like that specials schedule. It's 30 minutes,
Yeah, schedule,
45
yeah,
minutes, depending. And we switching up. And I'm
switch it
teaching,
up, yeah,
depending on the group of a fourth, fifth, sixth, I'm pretty much teaching them the same thing, just their level, but it's the same
yeah,
concepts. And and I didn't play an instrument, but
right,
we're talking more theory, songs, genre, music history. I'm gonna kill that. I know that anyway. And I bring into this
okay,
classroom true, we're gonna learn about ourselves. You know, if I have anything to do with
right,
it, I mean,
right,
we graduate and singing the greatest love of all. you know, it's so hard to say goodbye to
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
Tomorrow will bring better you, better
Mhm.
me. Like this is my
Right,
pedigree.
right. We them songs that uplift us as a people and for our age range at that time, that music that was out. I remember
Best song
the
ever.
greatest love of all for sure.
You'll cry.
Um,
You cry. You can sit there and
yes,
listen and
yes.
cry. Listen to the greatest love of all. So
Yeah,
I ended up
yeah.
staying. I taught music like my first 2 years, and then I ended up teaching fifth grade. Once that, I got a opening in fifth grade, so I ended up teaching fifth grade. And at this point, yes, fifth grade. And at this point, the entire school knows me. I just taught music for the last 2 years. I know the whole school. I walked in, "What's up, Mr. Barber?" They love me in the school, and I love like it was
Right.
on. So I'm but it's different
The stage,
challenges.
yeah.
When you're with the same kid all day, all year long. In my first year, matter of fact, I was a
Yeah.
self-contained teacher. We hadn't departmentalized yet. So my kid on
Mm.
reading,
Yeah,
math,
you had
social
them all
studies,
day.
health,
All day.
the whole gamut.
Yeah, you teach it
So,
all, yeah.
it was a different, it was just a different experience. I love teaching. I love being in that room, that fifth grade kids. I love them for different reasons. Because then I went and switched. I was teaching second grade for so the grades that I taught most was fifth and second,
Mhm.
and then it was mixed in with a couple of years of music. But fifth and second, and I love
Yep.
fifth grade for their independence. I love fifth grade because I can give them assignment and I can kick back, let them do their thing. If they need me, they come ask. I just assess them, on a different
Facilitate.
level.
Yeah,
I love, but their attitude is different. They're starting
yeah.
to smell themselves a little bit. They're starting to gain, and they're starting to challenge more. You know, whereas your
Right,
second
right.
graders more hands on. So task with the second graders is
Yeah.
more hands on. You know, I have to just be more
Mhm.
active in your face, and they'll be in your face, but they'll admire you. Anything they love, and other kids do
Oh, yeah.
too, but it's just in a different way. You know,
Yeah,
little kids, it's just anything. What you want me
different
to
way.
wipe the board,
Yeah.
Mister Barber? Let me sweep. Let me do everything. I'm like, look, now that calm down. Let me spread out the wealth. You know.
And you're definitely though, you're definitely some of those kids, not only like first black male teacher, but in some cases only ever black male teacher. And so what was that responsibility like on you
It was
at that
amazing.
time?
It was heavy, but it was amazing, and it didn't call I felt like it didn't call for anything other than for me to be myself. I didn't have to I didn't have to fake. I used to have braids, like, my head, you know what I'm saying? It's different now, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
different now. I used to have
Yeah.
braids, cornrows. Like I said, I'm dressing, and now I'm getting paid. So now, I can get the shoes and
Mhm.
all the stuff that I like. So I
Right,
always
right,
presented
right, to be
myself
fly.
very, nice. I presented myself, nice, clean, cut, and fly. But at the same time, I knew I had a responsibility to let the kids know that you are no different than me. I like my whole approach to teaching too as well. Because some people are,
Mhm.
I'm the guardian of this education. I'm some like a gatekeeper, and you got to get through me to get to that. Nah, I'm a guide. I'm a facilitator. I want you to be better than me. You know what I'm saying? And whatever that means, I'm not
Right,
saying I want you to make
right.
more. It ain't about money. It's about a lot of things. It's about what makes you happy. It's what fuels your engine. And that's what I want to take you
Mhm.
or help at least, you know what I'm saying, assist you in reaching that destination. So and I only have you for a year, you know what I'm saying? But that presence in that school,
Right, right. While you're with me, what am I gonna give
exactly.
you in that
I'm gonna give you
time
my all.
that
I'm gonna give
that's
you
gonna
my
make
all,
you
but I'm gonna regulate you.
right,
And, and
right.
and I remember when I first started teaching, one thing I learned about, I remember it was my freshman year. It was the end of year wrap up. So we're doing reflections. This is a staff meeting. We're doing reflections. And the question is, what was one thing that you learned? And if you had to do one important thing that you learned this year, what was
Mhm.
it? So everybody was saying what there's, experience, master teachers and newer teachers, rookie teachers, and teachers a couple of years under their belt. Everybody. But what I answered was, I said, you can't assume anything. And the entire room started laughing. I didn't get it. They was like, 100. You can't assume anything. I can't assume that just because this kid is in the third grade that he knows or has had those mastered those
No.
prerequisites that of the information that I'm
Right,
about to present. You just can't assume it because it's not true.
right.
You have kids that are low, you have kids that are on, you have kids that are above. And to be honest with you, low and above, in my opinion, those are both areas of special needs. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to
Right,
deliver what they need for them to thrive to their highest potential. And even the ones that's
for
on,
sure.
they special needs too. Everybody in this room
Yeah,
special needs
right.
because everybody
Everybody
has their own strengths, their own weaknesses. Everybody is unique in their own way, and you can't teach everybody the same way. Some kids are auditory, some kids are visual, some kids are hands-on, some kids are a mixture. Well, they all are a mixture of it all. You got to, but some kids are interested. Some kids aren't interested. It'll be the brightest kid in your class that'll give you the most problem. You really have to,
Mhm.
you can't assume anything, and you really have to take it's a blank slate, and you have to reach them at their level. I never want to seem as if I'm big or above. I'm your uncle for real, But in this setting, I'm your teacher. You know what I'm saying? So we are.
So how did you get to and a wise person once told me, "Never assume." Dr. Cecilia Woods told me this, when I was doing my master's thesis, and it was like, "Never assume unless you taught them yourself." Right? Don't even think these kids can line up straight unless you teach them how you want them to line up. Don't flip out on them until you teach them, and then with some kids, you when you've done it the 1,000th time, sometimes you're just getting started. So, how did you get into you was teaching elementary, you the man, everybody love you. When did we get into taking your rap stuff and your teaching stuff and developing your
It
persona
was when I
of
taught
Mr.
fifth
Newski?
grade. Taught fifth grade, and we were working on multiplication. Right, we were working on different levels of multiplication. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a multiplication rap. So I did multiplication rap, Mr. New School multiplication rap 1 through 12. I made a song for each number,
Okay. Each
recorded
number,
them,
yep.
burnt it onto the CD, and I distributed this CD throughout. Because you remember back in the day, you would get the little spindle, the CDs, it might be 50, 100, 25.
Right,
I
right.
always go to the store, try to search for the cheapest price, and then I would get the little paper flaps to put them in.
Yep.
If I wanted to get jig app like I'm like that, I would get
Mhm.
the plastic, the real plastic stuff. You know what I'm saying? And distributed throughout the
Yeah,
school.
yeah, yeah.
And well, we started with my fifth grade. I distributed to my fifth grade. See how they loved it. And then my second grade, so we introducing multiplication and stuff on a lower level in the second grade and things of that nature. So they took it. One times one is one. Let's have some fun. One times two is two. I thought you knew. One times three is easy. One times four is four. Let's do more. One times five is no jive. One times six is
Yeah,
six. We in the mix. One times seven is seven. You learn your lesson. One times eight is eight. Feels great. One times nine is nine. Let's rhyme. One times 10 is 10. Tell a friend. One times 11 is 11. Class in session. One times 12 is 12. Ring the bell. When you multiply your ones, there's no need to wonder because one times any number is that number. So that's how it all started.
dope, man, that's
And
dope.
then as I kept, then I would just write raps about, whatever. We got Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Like they
I mean,
getting it. And
your
they but
kids
then
must
they
have
would come
loved you,
and
man.
some it was a kid though. He was like, Mr. Barber, you know what I'm saying? He said, Mr. What's your name? You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a rap name. I was
Yeah,
like,
you
boom,
have rap name.
I done had rap names. They had nothing to do with the kids though. You know what I'm saying? But now, and I really sat down and I was like, what can this name be? And I really went through names, but nothing was that.
Yep,
When it rolls off your tongue, when it
okay,
feels good. I'm an artist. So a lot of my decisions aren't made off of, they made off of logic as well, but it's just not, it's a feel, you know? So it's
yeah,
just a feel.
yeah,
When it's art, I'm free to feel as an
yep,
artist.
yep.
And one day, Mr. New School said, young, that's it. No
That just came to you,
nobody.
nobody threw
It
that
just
at you or nothing like
Mr.
that? You
New
just
School. I was like, it
mm,
sound good. It roll off the tongue. And ain't nothing new under the sun, you know. So, but how you gonna do it? That's what's gonna make, that's the nuance about it. How you want to interpret it? How will you present it? So I thought Mr. New School was an awesome name. I just thought it, and I ran it past a couple of people, only about two or three people. Some of the people who are great. I had rest in peace. He was my producer. His name was Kevin Mackle and DJ Mac. He passed during COVID. He was my mentor. He was my mentor, musical mentor. He was a beat wizard. He's about your age. Mac would probably be about 53 now because he's like 4 or 5 years older than me.
yep,
He's a beat wizard. He's sitting in front of I tell him, he know. Make it better than I thought it was down in my brain. And I'm
yep,
like, yes. And then we kill it.
uh-huh,
So, but I ran it through him and a couple of others. They was like, man, that's a Mr. New School, very memorable. And then I went into the whole,
that's awesome.
but I
Yep,
wasn't doing it. I wasn't taking it serious as if I wanted to do Mr. New School at the time. It was more like just a hobby, more like something that I was just doing. But for my
for your kids
kids, for my
or
students,
yeah,
for my fifth grade, and all the kids in the schools. I started giving everybody. The teachers would ask for, what you got new, and I would give it to them. So, you know,
and you're giving it to them. You're not, like,
I'm
selling it to them. You're like, "Have it for free. I'll
and
burn a copy
that's what
for
we
you, I
do as
give it to you."
teachers. I'm gonna tell you, one of the
Of course.
most giving professions has to be teachers because they don't necessarily make the most money. We know they don't make the most money, but they give a lot. We pay a lot. We decorate our rooms with a lot of our money. We supplement what kids don't have with a lot of our money. We provide, like I'm telling you, I remember I had a kid in my class. Her name was Brianna. Brianna was so dope, right? And my school, the Elklands Elementary, was a farm school, right? So, free and reduced meals. So, but it was that same kind of you had some upper middle class because it was in Laurel, Maryland. So you might have kids come from different areas and some neighborhoods are single family homes. You know what I'm saying? Garage, two
Yeah.
door, two-car garage, all that. And then others, walkers coming from the apartment. So you had a socioeconomic fusion within the
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
So Brianna wasn't
Okay.
she just she was more low, low socioeconomic, but she was like, and that's I love being in those settings. I love to see how they feed off of each other. I love to see diversity
Mhm.
within a room of people on all different levels,
Mhm.
But I was, in the elementary setting, and she was just so talented, right? But she was hungry, and every day, and they used to tell us, we really, you're not supposed to give away like bunch of treats and stuff. I honestly,
Right. Right.
I would stash a bunch of like snacks and stuff that I would literally, hey Brianna, at the end of the day, boom, I just throw it in her book bag, you know what I'm saying? And throw away. Because I know she
You know where
hungry.
to go.
I know she tell me. At the end of the day, that's how
Mhm.
you come to learn your kids
Right.
as the year goes on. And a lot of it's obvious anyway. You know what I'm saying?
That's
If you're a teacher and you've been in the
if you're paying attention anyway,
you know what's going
pick
on.
up on all
So
that.
so we're a very giving
Yeah.
profession. And so I gave
Mhm.
it all. I spent a lot of my money. I remember when I did music class, we had this big it was the winter show, the winter extravaganza. That's what I coined it, the winter
Okay.
extravaganza.
Yeah. And your principal ain't give you a budget
Well, we
for it.
had the
You just
budget
had to
was what
go
we had.
have
Not necessarily what we need, but what we had was what we needed too. But
right.
I go to the
Right.
dollar store. My mother taught me how to shop. So I go to the dollar store. The dollar store is really loaded with a lot of
Mhm.
great things.
Listen, Dollar Tree when Dollar Tree first popped up, man, I was all
Period.
about it.
I bought
All
like
about it.
40 Christmas hats,
Yeah.
Santa Claus hats. I bought reindeer
Yeah.
bells. I bought an entire, now this wasn't from the Dollar Tree. I bought an entire Santa Claus suit. And I let one of my sixth graders at the
Yep.
time, Tyrone, I let Tyrone wear that,
Word.
and Tyrone was a great dancer. It was crazy because my
Yeah.
shows were standing room only. Because remember, my first couple of years, I was the music teacher. And then I would do these talent shows. It would be standing room only because I'm really a performer. So organizing performances and that type of thing, that's my thing. I know how to do that in Italy. Like I could
Right.
just do it
Right.
off a whim because I just know what it takes to put on a production. So man, I'm telling you, when we did
Right.
the practice, we was doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So, had all the reindeers, everybody had like I had these blinking noses and like it was crazy. It was an amazing show. I wish I still had that
Yeah.
DVD or that tape, that VHS. But he was doing
VSX. Wow.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But the night when we practiced, he just practiced regular. Ho ho ho.
Yeah. Of course, you gonna put I'm not gonna put the spice on it yet when I get out there and I'm like, doing my thing and moving in a certain kind of way.
Oh,
You gotta save it. So he saved it. He's a
yo,
Tyrone. He gonna do stuff like that.
killed it. I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, Tyrone is going off." He was a dancing cat. He was doing I'm talking about dancing in that Santa Claus suit, going off. It was,
Yeah.
like, amazing. The place erupted. It was one of the best shows ever. But we give a lot, man. We're very,
Yeah.
I can't even think of the word, but we're very giving. It's a giving and it's a work of heart. You know? You had to say that teaching is a work of heart. It really is. So I always admire
Yeah.
just the educational. I think it gets a bad rap. I think a lot of responsibility is not even responsibility. I think a lot of the blame, I think is put on the people who really are accepting the challenge. And
But here's one thing, and because of the lens that I have to look from it in my last 10 years as a evaluator of principals and going in and looking at schools, the thing is that everybody's not Mr. Barber. Everybody's not Mr. New School. So it's hard out here right now for schools because one, there's not a lot of teachers, right? And then some of these people that they're putting in front of kids aren't the best, right? Or I don't know where their intentions might have fell off at, but everybody's not that person that could get what they can from their students, if you know what I'm saying, right? Or they don't have that presence to command the students in the way that they need to be. Why did you stop
You know,
teaching?
it did I didn't necessarily just I did stop though, but it was I I was teaching. I worked my other job,
Yep.
as a caretaker for my brother. I worked, as a caretaker for my older brother. I'm like a community companion. Provide services to get my,
Okay.
brother involved in, just having a normal life, going out, doing things that they like, going to because, a lot of disabled adults really, the biggest, hurdle is transportation. A lot of 'em can't drive, and they don't have a family member or someone who can and a lot of them can't just go out here and catch the metro. So for those people who have that type of roadblock or in front of them, you really need someone to support them in that way. But I've been doing that since I was like 20. I did that since I moved back since
Okay,
before
even
I started
before you
teaching,
started
while
teaching
I
and
was
stuff. Yep.
pursuing my degree. But I was doing that. I was teaching full time. I was going back to get my master's degree, um, curriculum and instruction from
Mhm.
Trinity University, Washington D.C. So my school, let me shout them out right quick. Elizabeth City, a university. Elizabeth City State University in North Carolina. That's where I got my start. Moved from there to Bowie State University. That's where I finished my first undergrad elementary ed, and then I went to get a master's from Trinity DC in Washington DC in curriculum and instruction, educating for change, and then I went back to Bowie State for
Okay.
the VCDMA Visual Communications Digital Media Arts degree. It's like a hybrid media production degree. So those are my 3 degrees, 2
Okay.
undergrads, elementary ed and VCDMA, and then I had my master's in curriculum instruction.
Then your
Now, I was
master's.
doing all of this at once.
Okay.
Like, I just couldn't do it all. It was too much. I started the degree programs, both degree programs. I was doing them simultaneously. So I was like, I can't, let me finish them. And
Yep.
so I stopped teaching. And then I was like, ow, because I did it all for like a semester, half a year, and it was weighing me
Mhm.
down. It was just weighing me down. I was just, and some people can do it, and I'm more power to them because it's, that's a great task, a tall task. I couldn't personally do. So something had to give. So I knew that I could supplement some of the money that I wasn't getting, and I can
Okay.
finish these degrees. And then once I throughout the degree process, I'm learning this digital media production, books and videos and things of that nature. I was already knew had it sold in music. So like I'm bringing all these things together. And that's like really my true passion. That's really my true
Yeah.
person. Like I'm an artist. I'm really a creative. Like I make stuff up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I turn it
Right.
into something. Like I make stuff up. So
Right.
that's kind of what happened. And then when I finished my degrees, I just didn't go back full time to teaching. I started subbing a lot, you know, and I would just,
Mhm.
kind of and then I started to really try to pull Mr. New School together, but I had no business acumen. That just wasn't my
Okay.
background. So, that's where I needed some assistance, some help. I'm a creative. I'm a strong creative. I'm an artist. I get on stage. I do my thing. I make stuff up. I'm a writer. I'm a visionary, right? So but the business, like, and I hadn't structured it, and I'm still in the process of structuring Mr. New School wholly right now. The way that I truly want it. So, getting that website started, getting that at mrnewschool.com as far as my email address, and just getting that base structure, getting a vision board, putting together a plan. What's 3 months, 6 months, getting some people around me who are specialists in their field. You know, I don't claim
Right.
or even I just know that I'm not a specialist in everything, but I know what I know and I can do that well. And I just want people who know what they know. But that's really what happened as far as why I didn't return to the classroom. I started this Mr. New School.
And so you got your Mr. New School to get I think it's established. How long okay, so couple of
Yes.
things. You got a whole website, When you got stuff going on. When we met, you gave me an African American historical coloring book, which was on point. Yep, that's the book right there. It's in my office. Um, what services, right? So what's Mr. New School now? I done seen videos. You got a YouTube page, you got a website, you got merchandise. Your videos are phenomenal. You got the Hispanic guitarist, you got rapping about shapes, you got like what's the whole
The
Mr.
whole
New
Mr. New
School
School package.
package?
I want Mr. New School. And you know, it's a curriculum. Mr. New School is a
Okay,
curriculum, and I'm working on getting everything procured and packaged in a way that is accessible to schools and whatever educational platform that exists. Daycares,
okay.
tutoring.
So
Yes.
we were
So
talking about
that's
the
what I'm working on.
package.
So so what this is my vision for what I really want the end product to look like as far as this curriculum package. I want to lead with music and videos. That's what's going to so say for instance the multiplication, right? The multiplication raps. So I
Mhm.
will break those different raps into the age groups and the categories. So for the lower numbers, I would create a package for the students in the lower grades who are just becoming introduced to the multiplication,
The
the aspect of
multiplication. Yep.
multiplication or the subject, um, the goal, right, to master your multiplication facts. And so then I'll have a video. So it's music and it's the video, and then I will have follow that with workbooks. The workbooks would directly reflect these songs because in these songs I'm saying the multiplication. I want these kids to write out the lyrics of the song. I want them to write out their multiplication facts, long form, vertical and horizontally, right? And then I want them to create arrays. So that we see the real dynamic, what's going on, grouping, circles, drawings, that really
Mhm.
relate
Mhm.
to the mastery of multiplication and those skills and then ultimately will lead to a test. So it's the exact same form or format or structure or template that we have in the schools already, but my niche or touch is the arts integration. I'm arts integration,
Right.
and I'm culturally relevant
Okay.
to certain
Yes.
population, right? Of students and certain population. And to be honest with you, I'm not trying to not include anyway. I want everybody to be included, but I'm presenting what
Of
I
course. Of
know
course.
worked for me. I was a rapper, which caused me to write a lot. Writing, I learned how
Yep.
to better read. From reading, I learned how to get in and performing. I learned how to get in front of people and speak.
Mhm.
And when I get in front of people and speak, and perform, they'll clap. I'll build confidence. I become a stronger, better. I'm really trying to produce a type of curriculum that will push and develop the whole child academically, spiritually, emotionally, you know, physically, all these different aspects of a whole child. I just don't want to produce these. I don't want to create robots. I don't want kids to be I don't want kids to just academic and that and but they're nothing else. But then when they get caught up in a situation, they just don't know what to do. You can be academically smart and not socially smart, so to speak. You know,
Of
I can be
course.
walking
Of
down the
course.
street and at night, and my car is parked right through this alley. It's going to take me 30 seconds to get to my car, but it's dark, and I could walk around the block, well lit. That might take 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Academically,
Right.
logically, let's go through the alley. Since
ain't
Right.
that might not be the smartest thing to do.
Let's walk the long way. So I just want to balance those things, and I want to build confidence. I want people to, and these are types, and these are the types of things that we thrive in. And I'm talking about young black women. When I went to get my master's at Trinity University, we were on cultural relevance. That was our culturally relevant pedagogy. You know, and
Okay, yeah,
I'm producing for the underserved. I'm producing for the disenfranchised that I have knowledge base personally, as far as like it's a natural knowledge base that I have. I grew up in the midst of it. These are people that I grew up around. So that's what I want to produce. So
for
in,
sure.
in essence, I just want to produce these packages that are acceptable and accessible and for schools and school systems. And I also want to do, I want to, as Mr. New School myself, I want to perform. I want to go out. I want to be.
Oh, so that's yeah, that's the next question that I wanted to ask. Performing. What's it how do if somebody was like, "Man, this dude is I mean, he's phenomenal. I gotta get him in front of some kids," right? Do you do performances, and how can people book you? Is that in your area? Or if I wanted you to get on a plane and go to LA with my daughter at, or if I want you to get up here north, up 95 to Connecticut, how do we organize that? Or do you even
I
offer that?
do offer it. I've done shows more locally.
Okay.
I've done
Yep. Yep. More
elementary
locally.
schools. I know a lot of principals and stuff like that, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
performed at schools like assembly as form of an assembly, so on and so forth. I do want to expand. I ultimately want the Mr. New School show.
Right.
I want Mr. New School to be somewhat of a Mr. Rogers, but I'm an active
Yeah.
Mr.
Okay.
Rogers. I want to have a television show in which it will be a variety, an educational
Got it.
variety show in which every episode will tackle a topic. The first one that I've scripted is the alphabet, so that'll be targeted for my younger
Okay.
audience. And we'll have different activities. I'll have a science activity that deals with the alphabet. I'll have a
Yeah.
musical a selection at the end. I have a song called the Alphabet Book, in which we go through
Okay.
the alphabet. A is for art school. Art school is cool. You can rap and sing. You can dance and act and draw anything. It's for art school. B is for brush. The brush is the tool that you want to use when you want to paint a new pair of shoes. B is for brush. It's a song with a beat and a whole video that comes back. So I'll be
Right.
performing my
Right.
songs. My assembly would be like a day of school, you know. We'll start off with the
Got you.
morning announcements. The morning announcements would be basically my introduction. I'm gonna say a little Mr. New School pledge,
Nice.
and then we're gonna get busy. And if we're talking, whatever, and we're gonna flow throughout the course of the day. And then science, in science class, I'll do a song related to science. And then might make it something
Mhm.
about like I told you before, we did something like the solar system. I'll do a whole little presentation on the solar system, do a whole presentation on multiplication, do a whole presentation on addition, do a whole presentation. I would just do my different subjects, and so on and so forth. So it would be 40, say 45 minute presentation to the school. So those types of things
Okay.
that I want to do. But ultimately, I want a television show. So yeah, I wanted the Mr. New School show, and I wanted to air on major network, um, some type.
Yeah. Well, it probably have to be a
Exactly.
streaming service by the time we get done with stuff, like,
I know.
the networks are going away, the
Yeah, they
streaming
are.
services are taking everything. But that would be pretty cool. Get your niche. I mean, my grandson watches on Prime these 2 little boys and they family. It's Nikki and somebody else, and they got a whole YouTube series. They had a YouTube
Exactly.
series, now it's on Prime, and they just run around the house doing every doing every damn thing, right? Like building stuff, moving stuff, doing pranks. They learn some stuff here and there too, but my grandson is all over it. So I could see something like that you're talking about getting picked up by a streaming service where people
Yes.
can watch you. Um, but if we wanted to get in contact
You
with
can
you, how
go
do we get
to
in contact with you?
MrNewSchool.com. And you can contact me on Mr. New. Everything that you want as far as me, I'm concerned, is on MrNewSchool.com. Um, and you can contact me through
Okay.
that. You can definitely email me, brian.barber@MrNewSchool.com, you know, things of that nature. But
Okay.
MrNewSchool.com is my hub, and that's where you can easily have access to me, period, point blank. And like I said before, Brian, that's BRIA.
All right. And so what do you think is your best product that you can offer to folks that's on
It's
your
a lot
website?
of stuff on my website. My merch is vicious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got gears. We have we have shirts,
I
like
like
you
the hoodie.
said
I do
before.
like
We
that.
have a lunchbox. We
Yeah.
have one with this logo. This is my caricature logo. See right here,
That's your
and then this
caricature
is
logo.
my font
That's
logo. And font logo is really,
yep.
I take a
Yep.
lot of pride in my font logo because I told you before with my
Okay.
alphabet book, I created all these letters. So when you see the A is for art school, the A looks like an art school.
Yep.
When
You
you
drew that.
see the
Yep.
R, just for a quick guess, can anybody guess what that R is? And I'll give you 5 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. Hey, Tyra, what do you think?
Listen, that's a
Yep.
slide. That's
And
a
it's an
ladder and
R
a
though. So
slide.
R is for what? Yeah,
It's a basketball.
almost.
Ready?
R is
I'm
for
ready.
recess. Recess time.
Recess. Gotcha. Yeah, all
School.
that
You
stuff
know what
that
I'm
you do at
saying?
recess. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
so
Love it.
that's
Love it.
how
Yep.
I take major pride in my font logo. Every letter means something. M is for music.
What's the
Old
O's? I see
school
a record.
records.
Is that a
Old
record
school
on the
records
O's?
used to play when party people used to boogie way back in the day. O is for old school records. You know what I'm saying? Everything. C is for crayon. S is for sharps. Sharps raise the pitch of the note a bit so when you play the tone, it's a perfect fit. N is for notes. Notes are the symbols that sit on the staff. You have whole notes, quarter notes, and even halves. E is for electricity. W is for wood. L is for lyrics. It says it's cool, it's Mr. New School. You know, so like I'm a character.
Listen,
I'm a performer.
I
I'm a
love it, man.
performer, but I'm an educational
Yeah.
performer. So I'm performing with a purpose now. I've always been
Yep.
performing with a purpose, but now it's where I
Yep.
am, and this is where I want to be. This is really where God has placed me. And it wasn't like a decision. Nothing was like it was decisions along the way, but it wasn't like this big, this it was more of an evolution. It was more of a maturation
Okay.
it's just it's life. It's life. This is my where I'm at this stage and point of my life. And I still have a lot of energy. I stayed in pretty good shape. I can get in better shape, but I'm still, full of energy. I'm full of life. And I have a lot to offer,
Well,
you
financially
know.
ready to go.
And Mr.
Yeah.
New School is I
Yep.
feel like that's a dope way to see it's so many different types of education. It's so many different types of genres and it's genres within genres. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I was growing up, hip hop and music, just in general, it was a lot of happy, go lucky, feel good music, educational. Melly Mel came out with the message, and that
Yeah.
wasn't like kiddie. That was really,
No, no, no. It was
you
hard. It
know,
was it was gritty actually. It was hard.
exactly.
It's trying to wake you up to the realities of that. Let me ask you this. I could tell you said your favorite teacher was a fourth grade teacher, right? I could tell whatever she had going on, plus from your family, that rubbed off on you. And you're getting this, you're talking about as you're getting into this conversation about hip hop artists that did stuff like this, that gave messages to people. Who influences you as
And
a hip hop
even though I'm
artist?
Mr. New School, I'm rooted in the old
Of
school.
course.
You know what I'm saying? So growing
Yep.
up, it
Yep.
was it was really a lot of R&B like with my mother. But when it came to hip hop, where I'm really like, so my first,
Yeah.
I want to say was Run DMC. My first concert that I'd ever gone to
Okay.
was a Run DMC concert. It was the Run's House concert.
Okay. Oh, he Run's house. It
No,
wasn't
his
even,
first one,
Raising
and it was,
Hell. It was Run's okay.
I wanna say at the Capitol Center. It was at the Capitol Center is where the Bullets used to play back in the day, right? So, the Capitol
Okay.
Center, it was a massive show, though. It was Run DMC, before they came out, they headlined the show, but it was Run DMC, it was, Public Enemy, it was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, it was
Mm,
Stetsasonic, it was EPMD. Because
mhm.
remember back in the day, they
Yeah.
used to have these huge shows with a lot of artists.
Huge,
It was
huge
like 'cause
shows,
because
yeah.
rap was just,
Yeah.
kinda
And there was so many of them that was
my
big out
goodness.
at the same
So,
time. Yeah.
Rakim,
Yeah.
KRS-One, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, Run DMC, definitely
Yeah.
Public Enemy, like Kool D,
Right. So we
D,
don't
and a lot of people,
yeah.
like, they
Yeah.
never talk about Kool. I felt like Kool D was one of the greatest rappers. You know what I'm saying? He was great.
You think
Kool D
so?
was a beast. You know,
Yeah.
all of these rappers. I think the thing with LL Cool J, you know what I'm saying? It was
Right,
kind of
right.
a
Yeah, yeah, he
but
had his beef with
these are
LL.
the greatest rap, and they really had content. Kid and Play, MC Hammer. I really like these rappers.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to say is these rappers weren't soft people or these lollipops.
Right. But it wasn't about that other kind of stuff that rap has just really been taken over by today, whether it was after the NWA stuff and all that. And even though Puffy had a whole era on, going to the club and women and drinking and all that kind of stuff, now it's
It's
just a
ratchet.
little bit,
Ratchet is, and don't get me
wild.
wrong, I like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
Yeah.
where's the balance? And then look,
Right. They don't put that like we used to have KRS-One come on and teach everybody about all types of stuff. PE and KRS-One, they were spitting it, right? X-Clan, like we had songs that would make you think about,
thank you.
oh wow, Malcolm X. Wow. Man,
Remember
this
this?
this what we really need to
AF
think about.
Aura,
Um,
ICA, Angola, Soweto, Zimbabwe, Antigua, Zambia, Mozambique,
right.
and Botswana. So let us speak of Stetsasonic. These are songs that, oh my God, Stetsasonic was
That's
really an
Sonic.
education in
Yep.
talking all that jazz with the main source.
Yep.
I'm a Nas
Main
guy.
source.
I'm not going to
Yep.
be
The
a Nas
one that
guy. I'm a Nas.
um Guru,
Guru was
Guru was big on
huge,
that.
right? Tupac, I'm a
I mean,
Tupac guy. I'm a
yeah.
Nas guy. I'm a Scarface guy. I'm a
Yep.
Rakim guy. Those are my top rappers of
Mhm.
all time. And,
Mhm.
but for different reasons,
Okay.
because
Okay.
KRS-One is the top rapper of all time, and it's Chuck D. But if you
Right.
got a
Right.
name for it, everybody got to name somebody. But
Yeah, but I mean, even now, like my people now, I really look at what's my man out of Philly? I don't know why I was just listening
of
to him.
course, the root.
Black Thought.
Of
Black Thought and Most Def, like those are my guys that will give you knowledge and spit stuff to you that you really got to listen to the lyrics and take that stuff in now. And I think some artists can do it, but it's not profitable. And because we live in
right,
a capitalistic society, that's what's
exactly.
going to get
And but
pushed.
but but
And
but but, but
so,
my thing is,
yeah.
I don't believe it's not profitable. You know what I believe? I think that they don't want it to be. I think they have an agenda. Right.
Well, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole and it ain't even a conspiracy
It's
theory.
true.
That's truth. There's some things that we don't want you to hear, we don't want you to learn, even though people might pay top dollar for it. There's a whole other place that I might want certain folks at that might be profitable as well, like
Thank
jail.
you.
So we gonna
Right?
make sure that that's
Exactly.
profitable there.
Everything is
So yeah,
profitable if you put it in somebody's face enough. You know, that
right,
song
right.
they play it
And
over and over
you're
again.
right, you're right. But we don't hear it. Yeah, we don't hear that over and over.
Right.
So yeah, a
So
whole another conversation on that. I want to talk to you about as we get to towards the end of this conversation. When I looked you up on YouTube, right? When I went to your YouTube page, your top
it is.
video that's on YouTube
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
Commanders video. How did you get into and so anybody listening or watching, whatever you're doing with this podcast right now, go to Mr. YouTube, YouTube's video, Mr. New
Yes.
School's YouTube video and watch that Commanders video. That's
It's hard.
that now that's hard right there. How did you get
I'm a
into doing
huge
that?
Commanders fan. I've been that in my entire life. My entire life. That's what we are around here, PG County. We. That's our team. So
Okay, so
all
big
I
Doug Williams
love Doug
fan?
Williams. I had pictures with Doug. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Because I'm always a season ticket holder. Like that's my thing, and I love to go to the football. I love to go to all sporting events. I go to events, sports, music. I'm at concerts.
yeah,
I'm in the
yeah,
crowd. I'm there.
I got
But I
you.
love that team. So
Yep,
my thing was, we needed a rally song. And look, and with Mr. New School, I want Mr. New School to be easygoing and broad. I don't want him to be this strict. Everything that I'm always doing is one times one is one. Let's have some fun.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you, I got you, I got you. And Mr. New School could branch out to the adults and
I can do my
do his
rally
rally
song,
song.
and I came up with it. It is hard. It's the hardest rally song, period. And that's no joke. And I'm working on this new song right now. It's called Car Show, right? So just the premise around it is the kids are gonna do the chorus. Car show, car show. All the parents around my way have a car show. Have a car show. So right, so we're gonna have a car show, and it's gonna be all the cars of the children of their parents. We got some I cars.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We got some I.
Okay.
We're gonna have a car show,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and I say stuff like what I say, see how fast the car go. You pop the trunk. In the trunk, that's where the car go. You know what I'm saying? Cargo, cargo. You know what I'm saying?
The cargo,
So
I got you.
you
The
look at the
the cargo.
speedometer, see how fast the car go. So it's like it's educational and everything is education. See, that's what I think people don't understand. Everything is education. Everything is life.
Yeah, you're gonna
Everything.
learn
You
something,
cannot
right,
get
right.
past education. You look around, you see physics when you go to the amusement park, right? In action, right? You see architecture everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's shapes. Like that's 2D, that's 3D. Like education, you're
Yeah,
breathing education, air, H2O. Like you
sure.
can't escape it. The world is full of education. So no matter what I rap about, you know? And I think that's what we need to instead of having people try to separate schools, separate it, we need to envelop all these things. We need to combine, to unify everything together because everything is one thing. We departmentalize to keep ourselves organized. But beyond being organized, it's all a blur. Everything is a blur and everything is what it is. So, I think schools reflect communities, right? And we're trying to
Okay,
create a safe haven within a community. So the school has a lot of things that they have to deal with in creating a safe haven, a positive place within a community
yeah,
because the community is going to have everything going on. Every community. I don't care if it's the best community, you know, so-called best community. Everything is going on everywhere. The world is a ghetto. The world is a ghetto. It's all the same. It's just different levels. They're doing it in different ways. But at the end of the day, school, education, it's all one. And we see it and we should accept it and we should have a positive point of view about it. That's all I'm really trying to do with Mr. New School. Put a positive,
okay,
acceptable, fun face to what a lot of people fear a little bit or discouraged by. You know, I think the school should be.
right,
I think
right.
that the grading system. I feel like, and it has to be done. And I haven't figured it out, but I just feel like a lot of times kids, the ones that don't do well in school, haven't been doing
Yeah,
well in school. And by the time they drop out or something like that, they've been dropped out in real life, mentally. They've been dropped out. So
no, I definitely agree in some ways that we really have to do school differently, right? The way the traditional school, I mean, the world has changed so much when it comes to technology and access to things and what we allow kids to have access
Right.
to and how you learn, but we're still teaching traditional school, right? Still get you 25 kids in front of you in rows and you hear from 8 to 3, Monday through Friday. We have to do school differently because the world is changing and we got to start listening to our students and listening to our teachers so we can get them in a place where they need to be. I think Mr. New School has some great stuff going on. You got a great ear for stuff. You obviously are a great lyricist. It's been great to have you on. I need to get to your top five. I need you to pick that up and and now your top five, these are top five TV shows or movies about school. And you have to go from 5
Okay,
to
we counting
4 to
down.
3 to 2 to 1.
Okay.
We counting down
Yeah.
to
I'm
number
gonna
1. Are you
start
ready?
with
Okay.
you know what I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start lighthearted. I'm gonna start with the Steve Harvey show. Yeah, I love the Steve
Okay, so that's
Harvey
your
show
number
because it
5.
was funny, it was lighthearted, but it also dealt with like it had issues, in the midst of these shows, but it was funny. And I just like the structure. And when a lot of people think of school, it's like serious, serious, serious. And I just like to see that comical, lighthearted spin on school.
What was cool was he was a music teacher, so obviously
Yes.
that probably helped you out in relating
Yep.
to it, right? Like, he was a music teacher, but I don't know if he should have been having a relationship with the principal. I think something, right, was off with Regina, and then you can't do that. You can't be the music teacher and have a
No,
relationship with the principal.
no,
I'm just
right.
saying, right?
You're right.
That's
It's
not
not
supposed to
supposed
happen. But Cedric's character
alert.
Cedric's character and Labita's character
Alert. And what was
were
my
great.
man name?
Yes.
Meathead. Hey.
Yeah.
And rest in peace, Romeo. That was crazy, man.
Um,
That was crazy, though.
yeah,
But
Romeo, uh,
yeah. And
Merlin
then
Santana, yeah.
and then I'm gonna go with
Number 4.
Stand and Deliver. That was one of my favorites growing up. Stand and
Okay.
Deliver. Really dope,
Yep.
dope movie. And then I'ma do what?
Wait, time out. Let's go with number 4 a little bit more. Just why was number 4?
Because it was
Why did you like
serious.
that
Stand
one
and
so
Deliver
much?
was serious. And it was about a teacher. He came into a
Yeah.
bad situation, did his best. And like a lot of the premise of a lot of the Dangerous Minds too, the same kind of thing.
Some of these movies, right?
But
Yeah. You gotta pass the
yeah,
test at the
yes.
end and that
But
kinda
but but
deal.
but
Yeah.
within that, it's a lot of it's a lot of stories. I like movies that have stories within stories. Those
Right, what about the kids and stuff and the teacher himself and, all that stuff has those little
yes.
underlining stories that
I
kinda come
love
to
it.
a
I
head at
love
the
it.
end,
And
yeah.
that's why and just as a kid, I just remember that the Stand and Deliver, it just held a solid place in my heart. I love that. Number 3,
Okay,
Imma
number
go
3.
with, Imma go with another lighthearted one, was High School Musical. I like High School Musical. Kids put me on to High School
Okay.
Musical. Wasn't hip to how powerful
Yep,
this movie
yep.
was.
I was a
They
teacher during
loved
that
it.
time too. Yeah,
They
yeah,
loved
yeah.
High School Musical. So I end up watching it, and I was like, "Wow, it's a lot going
Right.
on." I just love the production of it. I love it.
Mhm.
That's another thing, and it's arts integration. Like that's just what I'm on. And like that movie was a presentation of arts
Yeah.
integrated, a presentation. They were dancing, they were singing. It was all within the school. They were at lunch. They were having their conflicts. They were growing up as kids, but I liked it. And it was lighthearted. And it was fun. I like
Now, I would say I'm not disagreeing with you on High School High, but I would say people of a certain
yeah,
age would be like
kind
Grease,
of
if
yeah.
that was
I
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
okay.
No question.
But your music, so you gonna
No,
pick the
that's you.
music
But
type
you
stuff
spot on
anyway.
with that. With the little slick hair, the little jacket.
Right,
You know?
okay.
And so number 2 was that
Number
number 3? I
2,
said Steve Harvey. I said Stand and Deliver. I said, okay, now we getting
Stand
into
and
it.
Deliver.
I'ma go Coach Carter. I'ma go
Okay,
Coach Carter for number 2.
okay.
I thought that was dope.
Sam
I thought
Jackson. Basketball, you not an athlete,
I
are
know
you?
how to
You play
shoot.
basketball?
You know what I'm saying? I got shot.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I never played like no organized stuff like that.
okay.
Because we played. We were around the way.
Understand, yep.
And we
Right. We
growing up,
play
we were
anywhere, any round
outside.
the way
We
we play.
played it all. We played football. We played
Yeah,
baseball. We ran. We
yeah.
played basketball, just outside in the neighborhood at all times. But I love Coach Carter, and I love how that one had a more of an
Okay.
older cast. You know, we talking high school. We talking serious issues. We
Yep.
had to pull people back. We had
Mhm.
people making decisions. We had choosing friends or goals, you know, and like it
Yep.
was just a lot going on in that movie. But you had one stand strong, no nonsense character that didn't play, and he
Mhm.
was in control of
Mhm.
something that the kids loved. So in order to be a part of this,
Right.
you have to meet the requirements. You got to grow up. You got to make a decision. You got to grow
Right.
up. What do you want out of
Yep.
life?
Right. Had a lot of those life little moments in it too, right? Like I'm trying to teach you not just about basketball and discipline, but life and discipline, right? And respect too, because there was some, when they first got there, whatever, a lot of disrespectful comments and treating him a certain way. And he was like, we're not gonna have that. If you're gonna be here, you're not gonna talk to me any kind of way you want to and do anything you want to do, and you can't be part of this team.
Make up your mind.
So make up your
It's all
mind,
about
right?
growth. It's all about
Yeah.
evolution. It's all about becoming who you are meant to be. You can make that decision, but what is your goal? What's your end result? Number one, the
Hmm.
greatest
Okay.
could be the greatest movie of all time.
Okay. Because you just say that to me earlier that this ain't just movie about school. This is just could be a
Period. I've
greatest
watched
movie.
this
Period.
movie more than any other
Okay.
movie outside of one other movie, which was straight comedy. Everybody watched
Okay.
that one on this house. But talking
Okay.
about Lean on Me. I think Lean on Me is my number one.
Okay.
I
Lean on
think
me.
Lean on Me is an everlasting movie that'll stand the test of time about Joe Clark, a principal who came into Eastside
Hmm.
High. What I've seen on is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's the way they presented it in the movie.
Right.
It
Right.
can't be
The
any
way they
worse.
presented it in
That
the movie.
was
Right.
terrible.
It's
Welcome
like
to the
what?
jungle. That's how the movie opens
Yeah.
up.
Right. Right. That's how the movie
Couldn't
started.
be any more true. This man came
Hmm.
in and totally revitalized this place that was I don't know.
Yeah.
It was I couldn't believe it. It was a wicked place. I mean, for the opening of the movie, I mean, it was drugs, it was violence. They beating up teachers, like they beating up each other, like it was
Right.
outrageous. It was
Right.
just
It's just
wild.
wild.
And he kicked out all of the kids that he deemed unfit to walk the halls.
Yeah. Got them all on stage
You, all
and
of you
ushered them
all
all
are
out.
expurgated. What do you say? Expurgate? Right? Is it expurgate? And they were going crazy. And the crazy part about it is a lot of them.
Right.
They wanted to stay. I would go to the Air Force.
Yeah, someone wanted to stay for some right.
The roof.
The character, I just
James
Sam's, he
wanted to
wanted
stay.
to
He
stay for
came
sure. He
back.
was
You
like, "I
smoke
want to
crack,
stay."
boy, don't you? He was like, yes, yes. You're killing your
Yeah, smoke
brain
crack.
cells. Don't mess around with it. Jump. It was like, it's amazing. And all of them, and
Right.
this one dealt with drugs, violence, teenage pregnancy. And
Mhm,
everybody clung on
mhm.
to Mr. Clock. He was just a symbol of greatness. He came and he took the worst of the worst and turned it into the best of the best. That movie will make you cry. If you really sit and watch the movie, and tune everything out
Yeah,
and just have an open and clear mind and watch this movie, the accomplishments, and as the credits rolled at the end, these kids were graduating and receiving their diplomas. I mean, it was amazing. This man went to
yeah,
jail, standing up for his kids. He broke the rules, that fire
mhm,
code. Like,
yeah,
it was. I think
yeah,
that could be the greatest movie of all time. As far as that's if I was going to compare that to a movie that didn't have to do with education, but the way it makes you feel and all of
right,
the intense and the I
yeah.
would have to compare it to Glory.
Okay, the
Like it,
Denzel glory, I got you.
it takes it's a major movie. I love Lean on Me. I watched that movie more than I watched any other
Okay,
movie
I can't
other than Coming
I'm
to
not gonna
America.
take that away
But
from
go
you.
ahead. That's all.
Okay. Well, Coming to America. Okay, I got you.
Right.
That's the other one that you
Oh,
would watch
yeah.
over and over again to keep it there. Um, it's funny because I just did a thank you for sharing that though. Appreciate it 100%. But I did a couple of activities with my principals. And you do your little icebreaker, whatever. So I put up all these faces, about 8 faces of Eddie Murphy and his different characters, happy, sad, laughing, crying, serious, whatever. And it was crazy because I picked, from everything from Shrek as Donkey to, Coming to America and the different faces, the Clumps, Norbit. Norbit, by the way, is probably my most
He's
underrated Eddie Murphy movie,
hilarious.
which is hilarious. Um, but it was fun. We did a Eddie Murphy thing, and they had to pick how they were feeling that day, right? And then they had to go and tell like we got a bunch of different people, right? A variety of principals and coordinators, and they all had to talk about their favorite Eddie Murphy movie. And it was just amazing how many movies this man has done and how it made them feel as educators. And it's always good with educators to be able to let their guard down a little bit and talk and be real with people, right? We don't always have to talk about curriculum or politically correct or anything like that. But if you liked Eddie Murphy Delirious,
Period.
you liked Eddie Murphy Delirious. If you liked Eddie Murphy as the as Dr. Doolittle,
Life.
then you know him as Dr. Doolittle. If you remember him as Donkey, you got him as Donkey, right? Life, again, underrated, hilarious movie, but that's how I build relationships with my staff. I use things like that to
Right.
connect us all
That's the
together
word,
and
Tyrone.
then
Connect.
move on from there.
I think that's
Right.
what
Yeah.
education is about. It's about connections. And I think
Yes.
that life is about connections. It's about building bridges. It's about humbling yourself. I think that
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
walk around guarded. And and a lot of people, I think it's unintentional. I think it's unconscious because of the way society is built, and we're
Yeah.
raised to fear so much. I look at the news and I just feel like the news is
Mhm.
just like because it's a lot good going on. It's a lot you would never.
But you would never know it. You would never know it. And even on social media and everything you fly through, right? It's always about the drama or this person said this about this person or the hot take or whatever. And again, that's one of the things that I'm trying to do with this platform is put out those clicks and those good clips about um just being a good person or just, educating folks in different ways and new ideas and new activities and fascinating people, right? Like getting to know fascinating people that are out there. We don't always got to stay hooked on to the politicians or even to the people that entertain us. I don't always have to worry about, superstars or athletes or different people like that. We have everyday normal people, and you know how we feel about educators and teachers. Those are like our real superheroes anyway. Those should be the people that should be the entertainers and
One
the real celebrities that are out there are the people in education. So that's what I basically try to do with this. I'm gonna wrap up with this. Mr. New School, what can we expect from you? You already gave us a little bit of that in the future, but what can we expect from you in the future? When you gonna get this? I know you got everything. You got all types of activities, books, and stuff on your website. You shared that with us. You want to do your show. When can we look forward to that
ASAP.
show
I want
happening?
to have what's this with James? I want to say by June. By June. No,
Of
this year,
next year.
because I have
This year.
scripted 4 episodes already. I just had to shoot them.
Okay.
So I'm in production. I've done my pre-production
Oh,
for these 4 episodes. I'm
yep.
going to shoot the 4 episodes. They're going to be 30-minute variety show, the Mr. New School show. The first show is dealing with the alphabet, and we're going to have some kids. We're going to do some science projects. We're going to have an intro. Like it's going to be an awesome day of school. Different segments that kind of follow the
And you talk. Listen,
yeah.
It's May 13th when we were shooting this.
I'm talking
You
June.
talking June.
I'm ready to shoot my video. I'm all prepared and ready to shoot. And once we shoot, we're gonna chop it up. And so somewhere in June, maybe the end of June. But I'm ready within the
Okay.
next 6 to
Okay.
8 weeks of filming. I wanna drop the first episode of the Mr. New School show, you know, and I'll probably clip
Okay.
it and release little clips. Exactly. And
YouTube
then,
kind of thing
we'll
again.
put the
Yep.
it'll lead up and build up to the entire show. And hopefully I can say, this spring is summer, this summer. We rocking Mr. New School show. It's no better time than now. I've been nervous and not necessarily nervous. I don't know. You start to do things and then things don't just take off as you assume that they will. You think they will initially, and then
Yeah.
throughout the course of time, you get discouraged. And I'm a creative. Creatives have ups and downs, especially with comes with their artistry,
Of
because
course. Of course.
they're I guess they're emotional or something about it. They put a lot into it. But long
Mhm.
story short, um, it's time to drop the stuff. You know, yeah, it's time to drop it. It's no better time than now. And I send that to everybody. My One of my sayings, one of my go-to sayings is the sooner the better. Don't wait to get started and don't wait to continue. Don't wait to get in action. Get busy right away. I think that's why I was drawn to elementary, because I think that
Mhm.
the sooner the better. Let's start to instill. Let's start to inspire. Let's start to showcase. Let's start to be great. ASAP.
I can't imagine you not being a school teacher. I just think that that's something that you need to think about going back to. I do say I love being a teacher. The best job I had was principal. I think being a principal was phenomenal. But man, you as a teacher, you must have just been incredible. Will you ever
Well,
think about going back to
I
that?
am a teacher. I always be a teacher.
Right. I knew you was
Because
gonna say that.
Mr.
I knew
New,
you was
I
gonna
am
say
a
that.
teacher. I'm literally a teacher. I'm just broad, but
Right.
but but
Right.
nothing's out of the question. I do love the classroom. Whenever I go back into a classroom, I run it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I run it. And they always,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, Mr.
Jump right in front and
Barber,
just take
we
over.
have
Yeah.
a such and such position. We have a such. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
right there. When I still see my students all the time, I'm always in a school. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's just, but yeah, I'm nothing's ever out of question. I'm forever a teacher, and yeah, yeah, yes, no question. I ever
Okay.
see myself going
Okay.
into the classroom?
All right.
Yeah,
Well, yes. Okay. Well, listen, Mr. Barber, aka Mr. New School, it's been great. I want to thank you for taking the time to come chop it up with me on the Teach One podcast. I know you're going to do great things. We will look forward to seeing your variety show come out this summer. I'm gonna call it this summer. I'm not gonna put the pressure on you like you just did yourself, but we look forward to that stuff coming out this summer. We can see it at where? What's
MrNewSchool.com.
the YouTube channel?
Or go to the Mr. News and please
Okay.
subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's my hub. That's where I'll be
Yep.
dumping the majority of my stuff, and also MrNewSchool.com. So everything is Mr. New School. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a song. It's gonna be called MrNewSchool.com. 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 Everything is the bomb. That's my little hook for my website, And YouTube, all social media platforms, everything is Mr. New School. Everything is Mr. New School. This it. When you see that, you know it's me. And when you see this, you know it's authentic. I am really this. I'm really this.
I met you in person, so
Yeah.
I know. I know. I got you. But
God
thanks
bless
for
you. I
coming on, man.
appreciate
I
the
appreciate it.
opportunity. You're excellent.
So, I s so that's it. That's a wrap on this episode of the Teach One podcast. But I do have some homework for you. You got to subscribe. You got to like. You got to share with your teaching besties. And then comment on your favorite takeaways. That's your homework. Seriously, thanks for tuning in and being part of this amazing community of educators. Keep inspiring, keep growing, and remember you're teaching one student at a time and making all the difference. So see you on the next episode.